All right, what's up guys? It's Mitchell or Deity, and today's video is going to be a very long one. So with this video, we are going to be crafting and gearing up our RTA team, essentially. So there's some points that I want to make sure you are too. If you watched the last part, I said to be farming unrecorded history / Wyvern and saving. I gave some benchmarks. So if you go to your currency, you should be sitting around as many charms as you could possibly have. So if you've been farming unrecorded history, selling, you should have a bunch of charms here. Next up, you should have all your boxes and everything. If you guys did use some of the stuff, it's fine. Some of you guys may have went ahead, jumped the gun, and did some crafting and whatnot. But in terms of our currency, we have almost 10k ancient coins. We have fully cleared Malachus's consciousness, are almost fully cleared. I have one piece of gear I haven't got from that, but you want to make sure you've done all those things in terms of Wyvern crafting. We have 17,000. So what I wanted to do with this was do one big session at one time so that you guys could see the, also I changed the name on the guide account to Deity Guide. So this is the same account. I mean, I changed that like a couple videos ago, but same account that we've been on. So one thing with this is make sure you are at Malachus's consciousness. So for Labyrinth, now that we have cleared Malachus's consciousness, I can start showing you guys how to do the Labyrinth teams. And we're going to be getting into normal raid first, then we're going to be going down to clear hell raid. So one thing I keep seeing in the official Epic 7 Discord, they're so delusional. They don't watch the videos. They don't know what they're saying, anything. If you're in the official Epic 7 Discord, don't even bring up my guide. These people are clueless. I saw this morning that it's like Deity has bricked thousands of accounts are at this point, and like they're talking about, oh, his guide is to just push RTA. It's to just play the game. Like, it's a PvP focused guide where we're still clearing all PvE content. We have the characters for the teams. Everything is fine. So if you are following the guide up to this point and seeing other information, trust me, we're going to beat all the content in the game. We're going to have all your PvE teams set up, and you're going to be able to do RTA effectively and have fun with the game when you're out of resources. So if you've been following the guide, you should still have a good amount of Skystones. Some of you may have farmed even extra harder than me. I would have about 12k right now. I have 2 weeks worth of extra rewards. So I would have about, I would just say, let's say 11k Skystones left with my current progression, because I have not spent any on summons, but some of you guys likely farmed a little bit lower, and that means you just did more. You just did maybe more unrecorded history, more whatever. I have 800 bookmarks, so we're going to get Lilius next week. So now my characters is what they look like, but just know this is going to be a long video. We're going to be going step by step. If you want to see the end result of the characters after the gearing, then you can go to the end of the video. I will timestamp this into a couple different sections. So we have started all of our RTA roster. We got Mercedes, Shu, Falcon Clary, Aiden, Arowell, Destina, and Spectene, Senya, we have Celine, we have Rowana, we have Lionheart Sermia, but I'm going, again, the official Epic 7 Discord is like, oh, he's going to use Lionheart Sermia to climb. No, I'm going to avoid using this character. I'm still going to gear her, but I'm going to avoid using her for the initial climb to Masters to show you guys you do not need the ML5s to get there. Meteor Cowrick is going to be a must for following the guide, though. He is going to be our core cleanser first pick character if we can get him. So Meteor Cowrick, and from there, we don't have any other characters besides Sharoon. I did get Sharoon, so that's our core RTA roster. Down here, I'm going to be working on Carrot. Carrot is going to probably become part of our RTA roster as well. Other than that, though, none of these characters I'm going to worry about gearing. I did get Piera, but I don't think I'm going to worry about her for the initial part of this. So now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you what it's like to kind of go through your gear inventory and get yourself ready to start gearing. So we need to make sure we have all the free gear we could have possibly gotten by now. So make sure you have the this set right here. This sword is from a current event, so if you guys aren't playing at the current time, you will not have the sword. But this sword's going to be from Malachus of Consciousness. You want to make sure that's full cleared. You're going to have your HP set from Chapter 3. Make sure you bought all the HP set from Chapter 3. Next up, there's more Malachus of Consciousness gear. Make sure you have the 2 pieces from Malachus's Consciousness for Torrent set. You'll get this piece, we might level it, but yeah, just make sure you have the full protection set. If you have Yulha, this is a great set for Yulha, the protection set is. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start going through some of the gear we already have. And by doing this, I'm just going to go to max enhance and put my lowest enhanced pieces first. So we're going to be checking these pieces to see if they're worth keeping. So this is a piece that has 10 speed. We're not going to end up keeping this. I'm going to be somewhat picky on my gear. So I'm going to go ahead and just sell this. And then we're going to just go ahead and level this up. This has attack, crit chance. These are going to be drops that we have gotten from farming Wyvern. So since it's a red piece with speed, we are going to go +6 no matter what, but it also has some potential otherwise. So both those rolls were good. So we're going to go to +9. And then that one, effectiveness. So now this piece has potential, but still is a little rough. But since it has all synergistic substats, we can use a change stone on the effectiveness. So we're going to just go to plus 12 now. And it's 12 speed, and then we're going to go plus 15 and pray we hit speed. We hit effectiveness. So this piece of gear is still going to be fine. As a new player, if you have a piece that has 3 substats, this is for PvP, we don't want effectiveness on this. We want a PvP piece. This is 15 speed after Reforge. So we are going to be changing this effectiveness to crit damage. It's not going to be the best value, but it's going to be way better on our account. So we're going to take a couple of our early game pieces and put them to be a little bit less good, I would say. So this piece is rolled pretty high, but for the sake of getting into and having a better geared team early, I'm going to go ahead and just show you the first change stone type thing. Be careful when doing this. You need to make sure the piece is worth reforging and changing. So this is like the borderline of not being worth it, but since it rolled 15 speed, in my opinion, this would be worth the change. Sometimes you do want effectiveness on like Zeo, but the bad thing is this is hit set too, or crit set. So Zeo, usually you end up going pen set eventually, but this would be a fine piece for Zeo if you did have them and you weren't to the point where you do pen. So here's it being changed. It could go all the way up to 12% before Reforge. So this is going to take the overall value of it down quite a bit. But like I said, this is still 1000% worth doing for a new account. And if you're ever curious on it, so I got a 9. It's a pretty low roll. You see it went from 80 something equipment score down to this. If we got the extra 3, it'd be 78. So we would have lost like 3. So overall, the value did go down, but now it has no wasted stat for putting it on PvP character. So I'm not going to go as in detail as we do more of these, but just for the first ones, we're going to at least cover it the best we can. So the second a piece like this doesn't hit speed, I'm going to get rid of it. You're going to learn the substats over time. Also, one thing is I'm going to have videos up about every single character and how they are geared. So this piece has health, effectiveness, and speed, but it's on crit set. So we're only speed checking this. If it doesn't hit speed, we'll likely get rid of it unless it were to roll really high. So nope, that piece will be fodder. So now let's check this one. We're just going to go through this. It'll go pretty quick once we go through it all, but like I said, this is going to end up being a very long video. So one thing is this could be, we won't keep it. Having effectiveness on carrot isn't too great. So if the biggest thing is, okay, so let me just pause for a second before we keep doing this. The bad thing is trying to craft and have focus on that. You guys need to have watched the last video. You need to have picked your core RTA roster, okay? And then you need to go and figure out how those characters are geared. The way you're going to do that is you can ask in Discord link down below. We have 6,500 people in our Discord already. So that is the best place. If you need help, I have a character gear list of all my characters within there. It's going to be updated by tomorrow. But another way is I am going to be uploading right after this video, probably 2 hours after this video, I'm going to be uploading the rest of the character build things like I did with the fire video. So I have a fire video up of how to build fire characters. I show a build example and I highlight each piece of gear so you can see the substats on it, so you know what kind of gear you're looking for to build that character. You don't have to hit the stats I have in that video, but it shows you the overall stat line that you're going to be aiming for. So this video here is basically going to be a stream. So just keep in mind that you're basically watching a stream, just without me having to answer questions throughout it. So that does help a lot. So we're just going to keep rolling. This piece is low rolled, so let's go ahead and sell it. Now this piece will go ahead and check for speed. So I already went through all my gear and only kept the things that were worth rolling. The rest of it I got rid of. So that missed speed. It doesn't have good other stats. You are not always chasing for speed, by the way. So just because a piece doesn't roll speed, if it has substats that are synergistic, they work together well on a certain kind of character mixed with the set, you are not always chasing speed. But we are always going to be chasing speed if it has speed, even if the stats are bad. But we will not be keeping it. So this is a kind of piece that, for example, could be used on a character called Arya. I am not going to keep this. I do not have Arya, and we're going to end up getting a red piece eventually later to put on her. So I do not have a character I could use this on right now. It's not terribly rolled. This is 3 off max, 1 off max, and this is max. But I'm not going to be able to use it, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. So this piece is a better example of that. It's +6. It's very close to max. So that last piece is already worse than this one in terms of overall score. So if you already have a piece that's better and you know there's only like one character in the game that uses that kind of piece, you can get rid of it pretty safely. And you're always just going to get more gear. You guys are going to make a million mistakes on gearing. You're always going to end up getting more gear. But the first step always is get your inventory cleaned up like we're doing here before getting into a crafting session if you can. So right here, it is red. We always go +6. If it hits speed at all, we go +9 always. So this piece is now pretty low rolled. I don't think I'm going to need it for anything. We're going to end up getting better. We'll probably get purple pieces. This is already essentially a purple piece or lower. So we're going to end up getting purple gear that's better than this. I will go ahead and sell it. And then check this for speed. It rolled speed. We check again. And it didn't. So now we could sell this. And then we got a couple more chests. We're not going to keep that. So this does have substat synergy, but this is the kind of gear you're more focusing on getting speed. If you're going effectiveness, you definitely want to have speed here. And when you are early on an account, one option you have, depending on how many resources you have, is if a piece is synergistic like this, this is essentially a blue piece of gear. We lost a roll by having 2 min rolls. The color of the gear gets downgraded, technically. So a blue piece of gear could roll as high as this. But since it's speed set with speed and all good substats, you can take it to +6. And if you were to roll 4 speed, this could still be a 19 speed piece of gear. Or is it 19? You get 8, 12, 6, yeah, 19 speed piece of gear, I was right. This could still be 19. So you can always check if it's speed set. This is sometimes worth doing if you are desperate for speed, but it's not necessary at all. I would stick to the same rules we have gone through before. So that is going to go ahead and just be done. We're going to end up getting better pieces. Chests are the easiest to get. You can be the most picky on chests. So one thing here is we have a lot of necklaces that need upgraded, and I need to go trade in charms before we start that. We also have a ton of rings that need upgraded. So let's go ahead to the boots. We only have one boot here. This could be great on shoe. Let's hope it dodges flat HP and it hits it right away. So let's go ahead and sell this. So now that we're to this point, I'm going to go ahead and back out of this menu, and I'm going to show you if you are farming Labyrinth, you will be getting your ancient coins. So with the ancient coins, you can go ahead and take them and trade in for ring charms. So let's just buy, the thing with the ring charms is a purple one is just 3 smaller ones. So it's always, it doesn't matter which ones you get. You could just get all small ones if you want. But for efficiency's sake, we're going to get 30 big ones of these, 30 big ones of these, and then we're going to go to the little ones, and we are going to get 33 rings. We're going to get 32 necks. So there's nothing else to spend your ancient coins on. It's always going to be these. So you'd never buy the 2260 accessory. They need to take this out of the game, honestly. But always buy that, and it doesn't matter which ones you buy. So now that we have done that, one thing you need to look at is we're going to be doing some conversions today. So with equipment conversions, we are going to be utilizing this to try to get ourselves better gear. So whenever you have your equipment conversions, you can try to save these if you would like to use on, say, counter gear. So if you're mostly farming Wyvern, maybe you want to try to get counter gear out of this. So these left side, or all of it, could be used to like save for the thing you don't normally farm once you eventually get enough for it. But it's up to you how you want to spend them. So with this, we also have blue boxes, which allow you to select which ones you're going to get. So with this, I always suggest only selecting right side gear, or right side pieces. So attack percent, crit damage, and speed are going to be the main 3 you're getting as a new player. These are what you'll be spending most of your boxes on. It's just how it ends up working. Sometimes you will end up trying to get an Effector's ring. That is a normal thing. HP percent necklaces are very common. And then as you get further into the game, you will start trying to do crit chance fonts occasionally. So you almost never go for effectiveness because these just drop anyway. But with these, you're going to see how many blue boxes you have. I always wait till the end of my crafting session and put some gear on to try to target certain pieces that I did not obtain. So whenever we do our crafting, if we do not get a crit damage neck that has certain substats that we want, Then we'll go and target and hope that we get it. And if we don't get it, but the stats are so good, oh well, it'll be usable on somebody else. But I would never suggest wasting these on left side gear. Left side gear is easy. This sub or the main stat is fixed. You don't have to worry about changing it. So these are always best spent on picking the sub stat or main stat for your right side gear. So we'll go into doing that later, but one thing you want to do with that is make sure, one, that you've been buying this out, but once you have bought that out, you are going to need to go in and see how many things you have. So in equipment conversion, if we're going to do a necklace, you want to make sure you have enough to get through all of your boxes. Once you have enough to get through all your boxes and you've already traded in for the week, then you can sell gear for charms. But the thing is, you need a lot of these. This is why I always suggest just extract all gear that's level 85 or above that you're not going to use as a new player. So all that you don't level up, at least. The level up stuff, sometimes you do want the return on it. So now that we have gotten the pieces to ring check, let's go ahead and do our checks for our rings and necklaces. So this is a possible super good piece of gear. Having hit set isn't the greatest, but in terms of the charms, you guys, like I said, I've been saving up for a while. I've been saving up since I told you guys to start saving up. So this is rolling extremely high so far. This is rolling extremely high so far. Oh my goodness. That is insane. Holy cow, this piece is nuts. So now we just got an absolutely wild piece of gear. And one thing with this is I already know what to modify pieces for. I know what I'm going to be putting them on. So this is going to be going on a character such as Shu or Lionheart Sirmia, or who knows what else. There's a million options. But since it's going to be not going on an attack percent character, I know I can just use this HP percent now. But always try to figure out where you're going to use the gear before you use your modification stones. So that is a crazy piece of gear to have on a new account. And that's the first piece of gear we rolled. That's kind of wild. So this is another potential good piece. It goes speed. It goes effect res. If it goes effect res or health again, I will probably just say it's dead, to be honest. It went crit chance. So since it went crit chance in this, we can use a change stone. Right here, we are hoping for speed. It went crit chance. Technically, no matter what, this will be usable. So we're going to go ahead and plus 15 it. And it went effect res, which sucks. But this is another example of a piece of gear. It has decent crit chance. It has 7 speed and then the effect res. So what I'm going to do for this piece to make it usable on a new account is I'm going to go to speed. I'm going to go to attack percent, and we're going to change that effect res to attack percent. If a piece of gear rolls more than 3 times into a stat like that, never change it. But since this one we know is going to be usable, I'm going to go ahead and change it here. It doesn't even lose any value. This ends up being the same. So it ends up being 11. This is going to be a usable piece of gear on Aiden or another character, which is fine. So now the problem is we have upgraded multiple damaged necklaces, and we're going to be running low on charms. So now we're to a point where we kind of have to decide or pick that we need to focus mostly on HP percent pieces or like support pieces. So whenever we're upgrading from here, if we have a DPS piece, we are going to stop a little bit early. So this was just a speed check. Flat main stat is usually just a speed check. Next up, we have another speed check. We're going to go ahead and get rid of it. But we're going to be selling all this because we know we have enough materials to do our conversions. So this was just a speed check. This one is just a speed check. And that is not what we wanted. So go ahead and exit out of this. Okay, and then we're just going to keep going through all of them. This is just a speed check. We got it. Let's see if we get it again. We did not, so we will sell this guy. Go to the next piece. And one thing is you will find yourselves running out of charms before you even get into the point where you craft. And that is the hard part of this. All right, if this doesn't go at least 12. Okay, nope, that piece is done for us. I mean, this could still be 20 speed. We go for it. Go 8. Went 6, it could still be 18 speed. It has to go 10 here. I'm getting rid of it. Well, okay, it had to go 10 speed, sorry. Okay, now this is just a simple speed check. Check again. That will be, go ahead and get rid of it for us. This will be a speed check again. Everything's touching speed at least one time, but as you see, I've already flown through my charms. And by the time we're finished with this, we're gonna have barely any charms left. And that is how right side gear in this game is at the beginning. You are going to be out of charms so quickly. It is very, very saddening. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. Just make sure you're farming Labyrinth every day. It's about all you can do. But if you do not do speed checks, guys, on all of your pieces that have speed, if you don't speed check them, you will never be fast. So yes, this sucks to do, but if you don't do this, you will always just be too slow to ever contest, and it will make the game very bad for you in the long run. Okay, so go ahead and get rid of this. Speed checking is a very, very core thing if you are a Wyvern farming player. And even if you're not a Wyvern farming player, you still need fast gear on at least one character. So this piece is hit set. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. And then this piece is another speed check. Another speed check. This piece has a little potential, but we only want speed on it. The thing with crit chance next that are on crit set usually end up pretty rough. So this is a piece with perfect synergistic substats. We are just going to pray that it rolls decent. I'm probably going to lock this piece. I'm going to go to +9 on it, and I'm going to stop and hope it rolls speed. It didn't. I'm going to lock this just in case this could be a PvE piece, because one thing I found on new accounts is you end up running out of your necklaces that are HP percent almost always, and it sucks. So let me go ahead and sell this. So we have cleaned up our rings. The only thing is we have the Lionheart Sirmia one here, but like I said, we need to save some for our support characters. Now, next up, we're going to go ahead and check all of our rings. Speed. All right, please go speed again. Please go speed again. Nice. Okay, go speed one more time. Okay, banger. Okay, so this piece is definitely going to get +15. I'm just going to go ahead and +15 it now. We pray that it's... I mean, that's fine. We were wanting it to be a support piece more than anything. See if it goes speed again. It did not go speed, but this is a fantastic piece. So on this piece, I'm likely going to end up changing the crit damage here to defense percent, and it's going to be a piece for Falconer Clury, or this could be a piece for Piera, any kind of speed contester that isn't damage. This is going to be a solid piece for it. So this is what, 16 speed? So 16 speed set early game is fantastic. So now we're going to go ahead and just check these, but that had the potential to be 21 speed on a new account, which would have been huge. All right, so that's 7. It can go 11, 15, 19. So we'll go ahead and upgrade it. Okay, it did not go what we wanted, so let's go ahead and get rid of it. Now, next up, we have this. This is a speed check. Speed check again. And it did not go, so we can sell it. Next up, we have a speed check. That is going to go ahead and be toast. This is a speed and crit chance check. We don't want it to go attack. That's not the best roll. That's okay. So we need a ring for Lionheart Sirmia. So this is a kind of piece of gear that we can identify is usable. I'm going to go ahead and lock it just in case we don't get anything better, but that is a piece that has at least 2 substats that are okay on Lionheart Sirmia. So this piece was just a speed check. This piece is just a speed check. There we go. Go 10. Nope. Okay, we get rid of it. And then this piece is going to be a speed check. So if you're watching this, the only time I would say to pay attention is if I say a piece isn't just a speed check. So like this piece of gear is still just a speed check because it's flat attack. But if this would have been attack percent, it has potential if it rolls speed or crit chance to be a very usable piece. So, but most of the time, these are just going to be speed checks. That's what I would say 80% of the gear you end up rolling is just speed checking it and then moving on to the next one. But I've already burned through all my right side charms. That is crazy. It's so fast. 9, 13, 11. So this has the potential. It could roll 4 speed at plus 15, and it would be a 19 speed piece of gear on effect resist. Yes, it does not have substat synergy whatsoever, but if you have the chance for a 19 speed piece of gear, no matter what, you're going to end up wanting to take it. But I am not going to take this to that point yet. I'm going to go ahead and lock it. It's also the kind of piece that the new Lilius is coming out. It could be okay on her. Having some effect resist on her is not going to be a bad thing. A lot of people are going to be building her effect resist. I think it had crit chance though, and we don't want crit chance on her. But I do think the new Lily set is coming is 100% worth it for new players. Any character that can be built easier, even if you can't build the premium build, if you can build them to a point where they are usable, that is very, very nice for you. Okay, so please roll at least something decent here. Nope. Okay, and these are just speed checks as well. Any effectiveness ring, no matter what the set, if it has speed, you always want to speed check it, because all effectiveness rings you want to be pretty fast. So this is a piece of gear I'm just going to lock. I don't have a home for it right now, so I'm just going to lock it, but it has some very high rolls, and it could be used on quite a few characters down the road. So now we have gone through everything. This is a similar weird piece, but the only thing left is, did we do our reds for this? We did. What is this? We don't need this. This is a speed check. I'll go ahead and speed check this guy. Like I said, reds always go +6. It double min rolled, but it could still be a 20 speed crit damage neck. It stopped. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. Since it can't be reforged, this is already pretty rough. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. So we have a bunch of really good gear now. So we are not going to be crafting any right side gear today. From everything that we've gotten and all the Malekith's consciousness pieces and stuff we've gotten from lab and other things, we do not need to roll any right side gear from this point. It's all going to be left side gear rolling. So please go speed. This could be a crazy piece. I want effect resist. We have no use for this whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and trash it to get some charms back. That piece maybe had a use for something, but there's definitely nothing I can use it on now. This piece has some potential. I'm going to lock it. This is not a high roll priority piece. This could be used on a character like Arrowell, and you just hope you dodge flat attack and attack. Could roll insane health or effect res, and it could be used on some kind of tank. This piece is a +6 speed check because it's red. And that is instantly dead. We can go ahead and sell it. Now we have this piece. This is a +6 speed check because it's red with speed. Okay, so this piece it does have perfect subset synergy, so there's a chance we'll use that on a character. So I'm going to go ahead and lock it. It is flat HP, which isn't preferred on almost anyone, but since all the stats are good, we'll go ahead and keep it. So this is going to be a piece that I'm not going to roll right now. It has potential to go pretty well. Defense with crit chance. Flat defense is the best subset you can, or flat subset you can get. HP percent reasonably high, so we would just be hoping we dodge flat defense and health percent. So this one is just a +6 speed check. Does not have subset synergy at all, so it did hit speed, so we +9 it. And it did not hit speed again, so we can sell. This is going to be a +6 speed check no matter what. And it did hit speed once, so we have to +9 it. It did not hit speed a second time, so this piece still has the potential to go reasonably fast. It could go 11, 15, which reforges to 18. So this is a kind of piece we can save and try for later. This is just a +6 speed check again. It did hit it. We got to go +9. It did not hit it, so we can sell it. So now we have this piece on Angelica as effect res. This piece actually has potential as 3 subsets that there's no waste there. Flat HP isn't preferred, but if it hits HP defense, this could be a very usable piece on a soul weaving character. And this is just a simple speed check. It was just on him to clear up gear inventory space. So this is a +6 check. All right, now it is a +9 check no matter what because it went speed. It's a +12 check no matter what now. So we will plus 12 it. That's going to burn a ton of our resources. And it did hit it. So this has the potential to be very fast as well. The problem is I really don't want to put the resources into it right now. So this could go 15, 19 speed. Could be a 19 speed starter piece. But the problem is if I put the resources in now, you see I'm basically out of resources. And we are going to need that at the end for wrapping up our characters. This piece has potential for Senya as defense, health, and effect resist. It is kind of low rolled all around, but we may need it to just round out our Senya. But now the rest of our charms we're going to be saving for our pieces of gear that we are going to be putting on characters and upgrading that will round out our builds. So we have cleaned up everything. We're in the spot where we can finally, well, I think actually we got a couple drops because I was farming Wyvern in between that. I'm just going to go ahead and sell all of this. Yeah, let's just sell all this. And now that we are to that part, we can go ahead and if you need, or so this is a part where we're going to start crafting. If you need things to do your equipment conversions, then you're going to want to do some right side gear crafts. So if you need speed set and crit chance for your equipment conversions, then craft some right side gear. Make sure you have enough. We're going to be mainly doing speed for a lot of these. I'm going to do some crit set boots too, because those help round out builds. So you're going to be doing this. As you see, you get to choose the main stat. This has 4 speed, attack, HP, defense. This has a lot of potential to go really well. It did low roll on all 3 bottom substats, but the 4 speed on it already makes it very, very nice. And then we're going to be doing some crit set ones as well. But you need to make sure that you have enough to burn all of these. So this one also has a lot of potential. It has 4 speed, has effect res, flat attack, defense. This has potential to go speed. If it goes high effect res, that's actually not terrible either. It will have some use cases. So that's why we use it on right side gear. Right side gear is incredibly annoying to get. And this makes things a lot easier. So we know we need a defense set Lionheart Sirmia ring. So we can go ahead and use our defense percent pieces for the crit set rings. So this piece has effect res, health, attack, and attack. This isn't better than the purple piece we had, so we can get rid of it. And let's go ahead and do another one. And this piece is effect res, attack, HP. Is this good on anything? Aria. This has potential on Aria later. I'll lock it. I will not upgrade it for a long time. So now one of the main things you're going to be doing is going to be speed set, attack percent rings. These are very, very important. Getting a couple of crit set ones is nice too, but this one has effectiveness, health. This is the kind of piece that could be used on possibly Carrot, but I think we had better pieces overall. So if you want, and you have a piece like this, you can keep it, but it has 2 flat stats and effectiveness. So there's only a few characters that be used on, such as Senya Carrot, ML Kawazu. There's a couple others, but I'm not going to keep this. I'm going to go ahead and re-extract it to get some of our resources back. We're going to do 1 crit set ring because I don't have too many max crit set rings. So let's try this. And it has speed. So no matter what, if it has speed, you're going to be at least +6 checking it. All the other subsets suck. But the nice thing with speed is if this rolled all speed, this piece is a crazy good piece of gear. So we'll go ahead and keep that. Now, effectiveness. This, if you have hit set for effectiveness, it could be really nice. But speed set and hit set are usually my targets for effectiveness rings. I think it's for everybody. So we can use our effectiveness one. If the effectiveness one does not roll speed, in my opinion, it's pretty much dead. It's very hard to find any kind of use case for this because any character that's going to be debuffing, especially on speed set, wants to go first. If you're going to be slow and debuffing, you're going to build counter set. But you want your character that is debuffing to go before everything else. The thing is, this was rolled mediumly high. So if you ever have a piece of gear that you're curious about, just lock it and you can throw it in your storage. So like we can go back out of this real quick. And if you ever have one of those pieces of gear that rolls pretty decent, you're like, this kind of looks okay. I mean, this is a min roll here, but this is almost max. This is max. This is max. Let's just put it over here in our gear storage. And then I wouldn't put too many pieces in there like that or else you're just going to get cluttered. But if you're ever confused, that's a great thing that you can do to just make sure to learn the game more before you decide on the piece. So we have one more conversion that I want to do real quick. So we're going to do the effect res conversion. We're going to do speed set for that and hope that we get HP, defense, speed substats. We did not. We got effectiveness, defense. This is not going to be used on anything. It's just too everywhere, so I'm going to go ahead and extract it. The only thing, no, it has both attack in this. I'm not going to bother rolling it. We could get better purple pieces than that. So now that this is done, we pretty much went through our conversions, but the only reason I went through those was a quick showing of it, and we have 15 of these boxes though. But the problem is we don't have right side charms right now, so I don't think I'm going to really mess with these. The only way I will is to target specific pieces over the next couple days if I need something to finish a build. So now that we know that we don't have any conversions besides boots left, we can still convert boots. Actually, let's go do that before we get started. So boot equipment conversions, the only thing you're ever going to be doing for equipment conversions for boots is speed. So we're going to go ahead and just quickly get all 5 of these done and see if we get anything decent. This is a super good boot for a Soul Weaver style character, so definitely keeping that. This piece will be used for sure. And then we're going to do crit set. So crit set boots early game allow you to use some of your PvE gear for PvP. So as you see, this has flat attack, crit damage, crit chance. If this rolls into crit damage and crit chance for most of the rolls, 4 of the 5 rolls at least, hopefully, it's going to be able to be used very, very easily on your early PvP characters. You can even do the free attack set with this boot and another crit piece, and now you can make that free attack set usable on Spectre Zebra, Aiden. That's what I did for my challenge account. So now let's go ahead and do another speed one, see what this comes out as. So this one has effect res, defense, crit damage. This piece is all over the place, but thing with speed main stat boots is these a lot of the time have potential to be good. So one thing with this piece of gear, looking at it, you're like, it's kind of everywhere. But if this piece were to roll all crit damage, it could have 50 crit damage because it's a red piece. And then you could change the effect res to crit chance, and that's awesome. Or it could roll 50 effect res, and you could change the crit damage to HP %. You'll have the wasted flat attack sub, but this has multiple potential to be good on different styles of character. So with red gear, there's always the chance that it could like penta roll on a certain substat and just end up being usable no matter what. So go ahead and keep that. Now, next up, we're going to do 1 destruction boot. By getting 1 destruction boot, speed main stat with offensive subs, you have a good chance. So this has good potential to end up making one of our destruction PvE sets usable for our PvP character, which is amazing. So this is not the highest rolled, but if it rolls into some crit chance, it can end up finishing up a build early on for us, and this could end up being moved to PvE gear later, and it's fine, but this is basically what we're hunting for. The problem is if we roll into flat attack, it's probably dead. So now next up, we'll do 1 more speed set main stat boot. We're going to end up doing more boots later. Most of your blue boxes as an early game player are going to be used on boots. So here's a boot that has flat attack, health %, defense %. There are a couple of characters that can use this. It's speed main stat, so you can use it on Carrot and Kawazu if it rolls decently. We'll check it out, see how it goes. That's what we'll go do now, is roll some of those boots we just got and see what we can accomplish with them. So first one, let's just take this to +6 and see how it goes. So it went double into flat stats. This is already pretty bad, but we're going to go ahead and +9 and hope it goes into defense or HP at a max roll. It went min roll. So this is a piece of gear that is pretty rough. I don't think we're going to keep it for anything, but since we know we have 15 blue boxes, we are going to be making way more speed main stat boots because that is a core piece for basically every character in the game. So we're going to go ahead and extract these because we're going to need more boots. Next up, we're going to go ahead and check this one. This is the one that I said if it penta rolls on something, it could be amazing. So it did go 1 max roll, 1 middle roll there. Let's check it again, see if it goes effect res again. It went crit damage, but the rolls are pretty high. So this could still, if there's any kind of character such as the new Lilius that's coming out, she doesn't need crit chance, right? And she wants effect resist. So this is a piece that could be used on the new Lilius. So again, if you're ever curious if you have a piece that could work well, this is 2 max rolls, and this is a max roll plus a 1-off max roll. The max crit damage we have is 14. So this piece could be really good for new Lilius next week. Has no HP %, and it has no crit chance. Those are the 2 stats to dodge for her. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this since it might have some potential, and we'll level it up later once we get the character that it could be used on. This piece of gear, no matter how it rolls, we're +15ing it. This piece of gear is amazing. So even if it goes into flat, this is going to be a piece that could be used on any of our Soul Weavers, tanks, whatever, and it's going to be great. So it's min rolling all the way, and that's fine. I don't care. As a new player account, This is perfectly fine. 70, it's going to be 80 some gear score because it has all synergistic subs. If the only way I wouldn't be too happy about it is if it had flat HP, but even with flat HP, having a couple early boots that are terrible gear score will be fine because you put them on your PvP characters for at first, and then as you get the better boots, these go to your PvE Soul Weavers. So this would go on your Montmorency for clearing Labyrinth, for an example. So we're going to be doing Hell Raid teams, we're going to be using Montmorency, and that's where that boot would go. So our Montmorency's 200 speed and not the Wyvern one. So here we have both went into this. If we can keep rolling into these two stats, nice, keep going. Go into one of the bottoms. Okay, that's fine. Just don't go flat attack again. Go anything else. Nice. So now this is a piece that can be used. We're going to modify the HP percent to attack percent. I'm just going to use my small one I have here for now. And now we have a good boot. It's not a great boot by any means, but this is a very usable boot for early PvP. And then once you get better boots, you can switch this over to your PvE damage dealers for Labyrinth and Expeditions and things like that. So fantastic to have this all synergistic substat, speed main set, crit set to help with our crit that we will not have. So now this one is a piece that could also work very well for us. So crit chance first roll, that's fine. It's a minimum crit chance roll, but we'll work with it. The flat HP roll is very scary. That's the kind of thing that can kill this piece. And it went into it again. We're going to go ahead and kill this piece. So there's no way we're going to be able to save this. This is already min rolled. 2 wasted rolls on top of that. This piece is going to be too bad for anything. This is, everything's low rolled on it. This is actually, I think, a flat attack roll though, but that doesn't help anything. So since we do need more boots, I'm going to go ahead and extract these so we have a second chance at them. So I'm going to go ahead into here and we're going to do a couple more speed boot conversions. Let's go ahead and grab 3. So as you see, we're burning through almost all of our charms before we've even gotten to the crafting section. And that is normally what happens. And then you go into crafting and you realize, wait, how do I upgrade this stuff? And that's why it's always best just to stockpile. So then that way your inventory doesn't become a mess. As you saw, we cleaned up our inventory. And as we craft and realize we cannot do anymore, then we won't do anymore. We'll stop crafting and we'll wait until later. So this just keeps your account organized and doesn't put you in a bad position to where you just don't know what to do with all your gear. You can't farm because you have too much stuff there. This piece has potential too. Please be the one that'll finish off one of our builds. All right, so we're going to do one speed set one now. This one has potential too. Nice. And then let's go ahead and do one crit set one again. Having a good, steady set of boots is great. So this is health, crit chance, defense. This has potential for shoe. So that's great for us too. Now we have more boots, but we're not going to level up any more boots until we find that we need them. So from here, we are going to go ahead and start working on our crafting. We do have this sword, which could end up being very solid. We have the level up pieces that we need here. So what I'm going to do for our first thing, since we know we don't need rings, necks, any of this for now, because we can't upgrade any new ones that we got anyway. We're going to utilize the free gear that we got and upgrade that stuff first. Let's go ahead and do 20 crafts of each of these. And since we know we don't need to extract for right now, we can go ahead and just sell everything that isn't too great. So this has speed, crit chance, crit damage. This has speed, effect resist, HP. These both have triple synergistic subs. The only problem is these are 2 min rolls. So this piece we're only looking for speed on. This is a min roll speed, crit damage, effect resist. This piece is kind of everywhere. It could technically be good on the new Lilius, but it's min rolled and we're going to end up getting better pieces than that, but we are going to speed check it. So we're going to go ahead and sell these now so we can get some extra charms, and we're going to do 20 crafts for the swords to start it out. So this piece, middle roll, not worth checking. Even though it has triple synergistic substats, you will get better pieces. This is a 1 speed piece of gear. We are going to check it. It's speed set, 1 speed piece of gear. This could be 21 speed. This is one thing that I keep telling players. If you are not checking your speed pieces, you will never get fast. The amount of people that have played this game that have sold 1 speed pieces that would have been 20 speed is probably in the millions of pieces by now. Maybe not that many. It's a lot though. I don't know how many people play this game, but I would assume it's quite a few. So that there is a chance that could even be 19 speed. That would still be great. So now that we've done 20, let's go ahead and do some upgrading. and that is going to go ahead and be dead. So when you have a 1-speed piece of gear, even if it super rolls into other stuff, the piece is pretty cooked. You are only looking for speed on that. So this one, we're only looking for speed since these are 2 minerals next to it. That's a max roll though. Since that max roll, let's go ahead and see. That's a mineral. If that would have max rolled, the thing is a piece that starts at mineral but fully max rolls, a lot of the time will end up the same as a piece that starts max rolled and middle rolls. So it is worth still checking if they start going max, but that one we'll go ahead and get rid of. Even though it looks decent, we will get better pieces. So that is Effectras, 7%. This is full synergistic subsets. We're going to check again. That's 20% Effectras. Very, very good. So we're going to go again. And that's 25 Effectras. This is already a super, super good piece of gear. I'm just going to plus 15 this because I already know I'm going to use this on one of my characters. And its attack percent, that attack percent is going to be traded out for crit damage. So, or not crit damage, sorry, for HP percent. Even if it rolls into attack percent again, this piece is already still amazing. And it went Effectras, but a mineral for the end. So I'm going to go ahead and change that attack to Effectras, or we could leave this how it is and use it on Senya. So Senya likes Effectras too, depending on what characters I find and how my gear ends up being at the end of this video. I may change that flat HP to HP percent instead, and this could be a very, very nice early Senya piece. The problem is once you change it for Senya though, it is staying on Senya forever because there's no other characters that are going to need that same substat line. So whenever you are gearing your characters and you do not, there's a piece that could be good on them, but if you change it in that way and it's only good on them, that's a bad thing. Whereas if I change this attack percent to HP percent, no matter what, this piece could be used on any Soul Weaver. So that is a little bit of a risk there. Any Soul Weaver that isn't built super fast. So a little risky on that, but we'll decide at the end. So this rolled speed, no matter what, we'll check again. This could still be 20 speed. This could still be 18 speed. The final check. It is dead. So if you roll 3 times and you're below 10 speed, trash it. That's going to be my rule. If you want to follow that rule yourself, go ahead. But if it rolls 3 times and it's below 10 speed by the 3rd roll, then trash it. If it's at 9 speed, it can technically 4 roll and it would be 17 speed at most. So if it's under 10, the fastest the piece could be is 17, and you have to decide, is that gamble worth taking for you? But for me, no way I'm taking that gamble. That's max like 15 speed piece. So now that we've done 20 of those, let's go ahead and do 20 helmets. Okay, so 1 speed piece, we're going to be checking that. The rest of these aren't too great. That's a speed check. This one is hit set with damage subs. We don't really typically like going for those. So we can go ahead and sell all these. Next up, another 10 craft. And this piece has the subsets of the helmet. We've already got a better one of than that. This is a potential really good piece. This piece can be used for a lot of characters. I'm going to go ahead and keep it for now. I'm not going to roll it, but I want to have it on my account just in case. And these are 2 speed checks as well. So let's go ahead and sell these 3 pieces. And I'm going to go ahead and lock this 1 piece for now. And we'll probably just get rid of it later. It was speed set, this one. I may end up needing to put this on a character like Carrot or something like that, Senya, to balance them out. But it's nice to have some gear that you know could be used on certain things just laying around, even if you don't level it right away. But you don't want a ton of that. Usually once you go and end up gearing that character, that's when you know you can go and get rid of that piece of gear. Okay, so all of these are failing miserably, which is fine. Go ahead and check this piece for +3. It went defense. Since it went pretty high defense, I'm going to see if it hits speed here. It did not, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. Hit set with defense is nice on a lot of characters if you just middle roll speed on them. All right, so this piece is dead. We don't like effectiveness with our attack subs. For our PvP, we do not want effectiveness on our things. So, oh wait, we had that 1 red piece too. Do we have any red swords? I don't think we crafted a single red sword. All right, so this is guaranteed a 6 check because it has speed. It goes high effectiveness. I'm going to +9 check this. I'm going to hold on to it for now. I don't like this piece, I'll be honest. It's okay. It has high effectiveness. It has speed. It has defense. It has perfect synergistic subs. for certain characters. So I'll just lock it. There's a chance I'll use it. And we always have the potential to change the flat defense for HP percent as well to get more value. So there's a chance that'll be used on somebody. But for right now, we'll just lock it. So now we're going to go ahead and go into our chest and see what we got here. We have one speed check. Chest, you can roll your one speed chest too, just to check for speed. So let's do 20. But chests are usually the easiest gear to get, so you don't have to be super picky. This has hit set with weird substats. I usually don't do hit set or check hit set, stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and sell these. We got our speed checks, and let's go ahead and see what we got. Anything usable. I think this piece has potential, maybe. All right, so +3, check this. Nope, no good. And we're gonna check this. Nope, hit set, even though this says synergistics, min rolled, and it's hit set, so that kills it inside of itself a lot of the time. The only time I'll go with hit set is if it super high rolled. Okay, so this isn't it either. And then this isn't it either. So what I'm going to do for the rest of this video is I'm going to do a little bit more crafting, and then I'm going to do the rest of the crafting off the video. I just wanted to show a little example of how I do everything. And then I will come back after fully is my current plan, but we may end up just doing it all on video, depending upon how many charms that we have. But there's a good chance after I craft so much, I'll go ahead and switch off. So one thing with the boots, we know that we were pretty much out of boots for our equipment conversions. So doing some of those might not be a bad thing, because boots are usually the foundation of your account. So this piece right here could technically be used on Arya. It's not terrible. Same with this piece, but I don't really like this. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. I'm going to sell all of this. So this piece right here, a lot of people might get tricked into rolling it. The thing is, if you are ever chasing speed on a boot, you want it as the main stat, because you lose a lot of efficiency on your character by having defense as the main stat. So by doing this, instead of just waiting till you get a speed set, main set speed boot with defense, say like even if this rolled 20 speed, this piece of gear would still be way worse than like an average rolled speed set main stat piece. So this is usually never worth going for. One character that this could be used on is Karina, but other than Karina, there's not a whole lot I would really use this on. I'm not going to hold it because I don't know anything that I would use this boot on. And the thing is, we'll get a better one later. You can be super picky with these weird style of boots, because you're going to see them all the time and you're never going to want them. This piece of gear has effectors, attack, defense, and it's all like minerals. I'm going to go ahead and sell it to, or extract it too. We don't need it. I don't have anything I could see that being used on off the top of my head. And the thing is, I may have made 5 crafting mistakes in this video already, like passing up on a piece of gear that I just didn't think of the character right away. And that's just part of it. The thing is, you're going to play this game long term, hopefully. So you're going to have more chances to get the gear that you didn't get before. So as you see, no main stat speed, no red attack percent or HP or defense to even bother checking. So we can just keep extracting. And the hit set pieces we get from these extractions, we're going to use to get our charms after reset. So this piece of gear right here, same thing. Even though you see speed, you do not speed check boots. Never speed check boots. Okay, so this is already an hour long. That's why I was saying this might end up needing to be cut down. But I'll try to go kind of fast for the rest of this. I think I've gotten all the basics kind of in place for you guys to understand. This piece has a lot of rolls going on there. The thing with this is I kind of want to save this one. I don't know what it'd be used on, but if it doesn't roll speed, I could change the speed to get maximum gear score value out of it. So I do not mind this one. This one has all bad subs, even though it's speed main stats, so we're not going to mess with it. But I'm going to go ahead and extract all of these, and I'm going to end up just locking this piece and probably putting in my extra gear storage inventory. So let's do another boot here. This is speed. It has effectiveness and effect resist. I could roll that for Sharoon and just see what ends up happening with it. So this piece has HP, crit chance, and crit damage, so that's probably worth rolling. Even though it's hit set, we might end up using it on a split build for a character. So like a Lincia or something, who knows? But I'm going to go ahead and extract these. And then from here, we're done with boots. I'm going to go check the little boots that we got, just +3 this one. See if it max rolls. It didn't max roll. I don't think we need it. Hit set always is rough for me. So this one, max roll. Nope, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it right away. And this piece has a lot of potential. There's a lot of boots that we have that have potential. So I'm going to go ahead and stop with the boots now. I'm not even going to convert more. I just did that because we're not going to have the charms to use all this stuff anyway. And this way we have some trade-in materials for the charms from Alchemist Steeple next week. So whenever you're doing epic crafts, I highly suggest doing speed at first for all of them, unless you find a piece of gear that you know you need. This could be a really good Sharoon piece. Unless you know you find a piece of gear or know what kind of piece of gear you're searching for. So say you need a crit set helmet, you could craft for those. Like say for your shoe, you need a crit set helmet with a lot of crit chance. You could kind of target that. This piece right here, I don't really care for it. I think we already have one of those sitting. So I'm going to go ahead and just sell it. We'll do one more helmet and then I'm going to do one chest. So effectiveness, this is the same thing. It's basically the exact same piece as last time. Go ahead and sell it. We'll do a speed chest and see what happens here. This has crit damage, defense, crit chance, pretty low rolled, but I'll go ahead and roll it since it's a red piece of gear. So now I'm just going to continue doing the cycle of what I just did to burn through a little bit more of my crafting materials. I'll probably burn, I told you guys to save up about 10 to 15k, and I started with 17k. So let me burn about 3,000 more materials doing what I just did. I'll do probably 30 more swords, 30 more helmets, 30 more chests, and then maybe one more of one neck and ring just to burn another 1,000 there. And then I will be back with the rest of the video. All right, so we are back. I just went through and did another little bit of crafting. I didn't get anything, I don't think. There was, oh well, one piece of gear, I think, is all I ended up getting. But I went through just a couple thousand more. So we have 7,000. So this was a 10,000 material crafting session. So now that we have a little bit of gear to slap around, we are going to go ahead and go into our teams. So now this is where it gets a little hard. You need to determine what you're going to be building each character on and all of that. So first off, we are going to be building Mercedes on attack set. The free attack set that we get is usually pretty solid. I'm going to go ahead, and we know that she is probably our highest damage dealing character to deal with Spectre Tenebria getting into RTA. So we're going to go ahead and put her on Torrent set. Torrent set is a set that is good against, or it's good for attacks that are not single target attacks. Penetration set is single target attack. So I see a lot of people put pen set on the Mercedes. That does nothing. It literally does nothing for you. So we're going to go ahead and take one of our attack percent boots that are already leveled up. We'll go ahead and just take this one. That's fine. So now our Mercedes is sitting at 72 crit chance, but this is going to end up being fine for now. We will change the gear later depending on how it rolls, but we can go through and at least get a set grouping for each character. Some of our characters are already fine. We can make minor adjustments if we would like, but the goal right now is to just get everything kind of set up for ourselves. So you need to look at your speed disrupting character if you have one, and you're going to want to find the fastest gear that you have and put it on them. So the fastest gear we have, it looks like for Falcon Clary, is 10 for the helmet, 10 for the sword. The helmet's going to look like 13. This is a piece that could go faster, so let's go ahead and max it. This is a piece that could be used on any tank. It did not go faster, but it's still a solid piece of gear. So let's go ahead and stick her on this. That's 13 speed. Next up, it looks like our Crozet's chest is going to be the fastest chest we can get. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this on her. Next up, we have this piece of gear, which is 18. So we did get lucky, and one of our free health set pieces rolled fast. This piece has potential to go fast too. But with all of your health set, you're probably going to have having at least 2 pieces that rolled reasonably quick. Now, next up, we have this, which rolled 16, but we just got the new 16 speed piece right here. So I don't build Falconer Clary on any effectiveness. Her purpose is to be a tank and bulk for you. So this is what I'm going to go ahead and do for her. This piece has the potential to go even faster, though. So this is a piece that you could level up, but the problem is, you see, we're kind of running low on charms, so I do not want to commit to another piece yet. This is going to have to work for us, and now we need a speed set pair of boots that has bulk to get the most out of her. This piece looks pretty solid. This piece looks okay. The thing is, we probably want to use this piece on a soul weaving character just to get the most value out of them. And the thing is, with your speed contesting character, it's not as important to go before everything. But the bad thing is this boot's actually really good on Senya. So we know we have Senya, so it's probably going to end up going on her. Let's look at our other options. So it looks like there's nothing else. This piece has a little bit of potential for her. This piece, so with your speed contesting character, you also want to make sure that it is a T85 speed piece of gear. So this one might be the best. We just need to dodge crit damage. So let's go ahead and just go to +6 on it. We dodge crit damage. Let's go to +9. Dodge crit damage, go to +12. Dodge crit damage, go to +15, and we're done with this piece of gear. 21. So that's a solid piece of gear for her. We can go ahead and change it. And now we're looking at a Falconer Clary that after reforge is 260 speed. So 260 speed is very attainable. I know we have an 18 speed piece here, but we have a 10 speed piece here. So keep that in mind. 13 speed there isn't fast. 16 is pretty easy to get. 10 speed is super simple to get. We can guaranteed, if we chase speed with our last 7,000, we will get a faster than 10 speed piece. No matter what, as long as we roll even 1 speed pieces, we will get something faster than this. But this just shows this is pretty attainable. So I'm going to go ahead and reforge this. Having your speed character fully reforged is very important if that's the role you're going to fit them in. We are going to end up changing the crit damage to HP %, but for right now, I'm just going to change it to flat HP so we don't have the wasted substat on it. So let's go ahead and just make sure we get the most value we can out of it. And this we're going to go ahead and reforge as well. And we're going to end up changing the crit damage on this. So the reason we're changing crit damage to not attack is because even though there's attack, it is still giving us, actually let's go effectiveness. So we want the flat HP. I never want to go crit damage here because why have crit damage when you're only getting extra damage if you crit, whereas having attack, you're still getting extra stat value every time you hit. So anytime you have crit chance or crit damage and you're not running a 100% crit build, it's usually worth getting rid of those. So let's go ahead and just change this up for now, since we're going to change it again later. This is a piece that you could be like, oh, what if you want to use that on an HP scaling damage dealer? You could change the attack for crit chance. I'm not going to do that. Most HP scaling damage dealers I'm not wanting to go that fast on anyway. So the only thing that this might have been useful on is a new shoe if you have it. But since I know what I'm using this piece for, this will always just be now a support piece for me. It's always going to go on a speed character. And honestly, this can still, if I was going to use shoe, I don't want crit chance or crit damage on her probably anyway. I'd probably just change this to defense %, which is what I'll end up doing most likely anyway. But I just want to use the change stones that I have to make sure I have no wasted stat on my characters to the best of my ability. So we have a 260 speed character already. That's our disrupting character. That's what we got to work with. Now, next up, we have Aiden. So Aiden is going to be built on speed set for us. So let's go ahead and look at our speed set options. So for our rings, we have this one. We have this one that looks like our best ring we have for attack %. This one you get for free if it rolls decent, could be good. But this looks like overall the best. Next up, we're going to have our crit damage next. So crit damage neck, this looks like the best one that we have currently that we could put on her. So let's just throw that on. Next up, we are going to want to do crit set mixed with it. So let's see if we have any crit set pieces that we could go ahead and take. This piece is this piece is So right now it looks like we are kind of weak on a crit set chest. We may end up wanting to get that. So let's see if we have anything for the helmets up, like in the lines of crit set. This piece technically could work on her for now. This piece is not for her. This piece has some potential. And this piece isn't it. This piece isn't it. So it looks like the best thing we can do is leave what's already on her. And then for the last piece, we did end up getting this piece. So we do need to find one more crit set piece somewhere. So let's see if we have an attack % ring. Sometimes you have to go all the way and take the other attack % rings, but honestly, the one she has on looks pretty good. So this looks like a solid Aiden. We're sitting at 95 crit chance. Once we reforge this, we get 3. Once we reforge this, we get 2. So that gives us 5. That's 100% crit chance Aiden. She's on crit set, speed set. Looks good to me. So let's go ahead and throw her together. Now I'm going to go ahead and reforge this sword. Oh, it's only 14 speed. Sorry, I thought it was 15 speed. Either way, 87 equipment score, all good substats that we need. I was one off on that earlier, sorry. But either way, it doesn't really change anything. And another thing is always reforge your right side gear first. I just did left side gear. If you only have so many reforged materials, always do right side first. You get the most value out of it. But so there's our Aiden. Our Aiden will be even stronger once we finish getting her all of her stuff. But now we have an Aiden. So Spectre Tenebria. we do already have a very usable Spectratibra. The Spectratibra would work in RTA already easily. So I think we can just leave her how she is. This looks good to me. Now we have a Selene. So Selene, we do know that we got that destruction gear. So our Selene as our next damage dealing option, we're probably going to end up trying to figure out destruction gear for her. So we know we have these boots. I do like speed on Selene more than anything. And in terms of the chest, there's no effectiveness on the chest. There's no effectiveness there. And the sword has no effectiveness. So these all pieces look fine to me. Let's go ahead and check our crit set pieces and see if there's anything that we want. So this is going to put us at the crit value that we need, allowing us that if we need to go broken set for an attack percent ring, we could, but I don't think we will. I think we're going to end up just taking this piece from Mui. It's going to, so look at the difference between flat attack and attack percent, and it goes up even more when they're fully awakened, which she is not. So if you see here, we have 2,037 attack with this current build in comparison to 2,132. So the difference isn't too bad because there's 9% attack here, but this has no flat attack. So take away 9% more, this is like a 200 attack difference is one of the bad things with this. But this is a piece that could be really nice on her too. So I may just end up going with this. But if we have a attack percent piece that does not have any crit damage, which we don't, so we're probably just going to end up having to go with this or this, which is fine. Either one is okay. This has no crit chance on it, so actually we could probably change the effectiveness to something else. And this will be just overall better. So we are way over crit cap before we do anything on this character, which is the bad part. So we may end up wanting to use this on our Lionheart Surmia anyway, but that was just an example. So this piece of gear isn't too bad. We may end up having to go lesser, or we can go this. This is fine. This doesn't have a ton of attack, but that will work anyway. Oh no, Villager. Let's take Villagers. We can do PvE with other piece. So I was doing a little bit of farming. So this piece looks overall good. Now from this position, we're just hoping that we can roll some crit chance. And since this is flat attack, I almost want to go this piece now because that's going to just give us more value. It's rolled very well. I got this as a drop from Labyrinth. I did one Labyrinth run. So I'll go ahead and take that and we'll go ahead and do this, change it. We are going to want to level up this gear now. I'm going to work on all my awakenings after we are finished with all this. So my Destina is already to a point where I think she's good. Once I level up this right side gear, I think this Destina is perfectly usable. So she already has the gear set that she needs. Spectratibra is already usable. Unbound Knight Airwell. So this is going to be not the next character we gear. The next character we gear in priority, it should be Meteor Cowrick. So Meteor Cowrick, we are going to want speed on him for sure. So let's do this first. This boot isn't great on him. I'm going to sort by HP percent and just see what our options are. This piece is probably the best that we have currently that we could put on him. This piece, yeah. So I think we're gonna try to steal from Shu, but with that, we did get that piece of gear, this one here, that could end up being better for Shu anyway, as long as it doesn't roll too much flat attack. So this says only has 5 crit chance. This already has 5 crit chance, so it's not going to end up being a bad change no matter what. So I'm just gonna go ahead and steal that. We're gonna sort by do HP percent here. In terms of our HP percent rings, we don't have too many options. We may end up doing this. This is 4. The problem is by doing the Shu boots, we are losing out on HP set bonus, but having 28% here is always pretty nice. So this gives attack, this gives damage. We may end up having to craft for a better ring, which is fine. So we're gonna go ahead and take this. This has crit chance on it as well. Or we could do this one. Well, no, I'd rather have the 65. So then here, let's go ahead and sort by speed. Now we need speed for all the rest. And let's sort by HP percent. Looks like we're going to end up with this piece. We're going to end up with this piece. Yeah, that looks best. And then so this piece, this puts us at 200 speed already. We haven't upgraded the ring at all. We're at 18,000 HP, so it's going to be over 20k HP. This doesn't look too bad, but this is going to be an example Meteor Cowrick build. But it looks like we're going to have to craft for him a little bit, which is fine. So we'll go ahead and do that before we gear him. But we know we're pretty close. So next up, we're going to go ahead and look at our Sharoon and see. So Sharoon typically would just be built on speed set. You would use like pieces like this. And then the helmet, you could just use this piece that we ended up getting. The chest, you could use this piece. That's fine. We want an HP percent ring, so let's go with this one since we're going to use the other one on Meteor Cowrick. And then Let's see if we have any rings. So we did have this flat ring that was decently fast. This could be used on her. But from this spot here, let's go ahead and take the good boot we got. So this one, it is going to give us probably the most potential out of her that we can get on our account currently. And now let's sort by HP set, and let's go ahead and steal this piece, and then see if there's a better chest. Helmet, there is a better chest and helmet that we could take as well. So the chest is effect res, the helmet is also perfect. So which is the worst piece? Probably the chest. It's going to be the chest. So let's go ahead and switch out the chest for this one. And now we're going to have a Sharoon that's probably going to be usable based just off this gear. 37 effectiveness, 71. It's just going to have to work. That's the way it is. If you want to try to get higher effectiveness on her, you can just check for effectiveness. And this piece is not that great. This piece is okay. Let's go ahead and take this piece. That saves the other boot for possibly Arrowwell. Let's take this piece. That's fine with me. Okay, so this will end up being, we just hope we don't go attack percent, because we already have a Senya boot as well. So let's go ahead and just put her on that. For Meteor Cowrick, let's go ahead and try to get him on the gear that we've been talking about. So first off, let's do speed. And then we have this one. That's just going to go on Arrowwell. So that's what I was saying. When we rolled this, I knew it would just end up going on whatever character. For the HP, we definitely want HP percent. So we're going to want to possibly steal Raz's piece. Honestly, it's 10 speed. It's not bad. And then for the helmet, did we have a good helmet for him or no? I don't think we did. Yeah, we didn't have a good helmet for him. So let's just go ahead and do the speed set helmet that isn't on anyone yet. And then for the sword, this is probably going to go on Arrowwell. This is going to be my guess. This piece is a damage dealer piece. This piece has potential to roll health and speed. I'm going to go ahead and enhance this piece. This is from the newest event. I went speed. So if it goes attack, crit damage, we'll use it on somebody else. All right, so there's 11 speed. There's 15 speed. There's health. And what do we got for the last roll? Crit damage. So that crit damage roll just kind of threw this off big time, but this is an insanely good piece. It'll work on him just fine. We have the crit damage and we'll just have to deal with it. So now that means we're going to need a chest with HP that's better than this one for sure. And then we're going to need boots a speed set pair of boots that has HP percent. We're just going to have to find one of those that is better than this because we're not taking that from Aiden or Arrowwell, sorry, which is fine. So this is what we're going to rocking. So I can go ahead and move this gear and we'll try to upgrade it later. So one thing we can do, you guys know we have a speed contesting character that is higher speed than the current speed on our speed contesting character. So we could switch this out with this and we can get our Clary to 264. I think that, or 265. I think that would be our best bet, but what is our Meteor Cowrick speed right now? So Meteor Cowrick is looking at 141 with 45 speed plus speed set. He's going to end up being pretty solid already. So the extra 5 speed on Clary is going to be worth it in my opinion. It's not too bad of a trade-off on Meteor Cowrick. The thing with Meteor Cowrick, he's just going to work very well regardless. So let's go ahead and just throw the new fastest piece on her. So we got 265 Clary to start with. And now let's go to Meteor Cowrick and throw the new sword on him, or the old sword. Okay, so now we know one of the pieces we need to chase is a boot for Meteor Cowrick. That's a very high priority. In terms of Sharoon, one thing with Sharoon is we also have the ability to build our own counter set, and this is something I was going to consider. So we have the helmet here, we have this chest here, and then from there, though, we don't have anything else. So we have a set starting to be geared that could be well or used well on her, but we are going to need to chase. I'm going to chase most likely a sword, and then we're going to try to do a conversion for likely a ring for that. And that way, if we're trying to chase HP percent ring, if it goes damage, it could be better for shoe. And then we can do some switching around there. But for right now, we're just going to do speed set Sharoon. That is fine. So our Rowana is on our protection set. One thing with Rowana is the secondary piece of gear I will be getting from chapter 3. So once we get that piece of gear from chapter 3, we'll be good to go. It is the same as this, as just a helmet, or sorry, a necklace. So she'll be on protection set, good to go. If you have Yulha on protection set would be amazing. I would use this on her instead and just put Rowana on like 6-piece HP set. Like I said, our Destina's fine. So let's look. Now we got Mercedes. Her gear is going to be good once we level it. We have Shu, Falconer Clary's our speed contest at 265. You guys can't see the stats at all whenever I'm in this. I'm sorry. But here is going to be the stats. Here is Mercedes. Here is Shu, Falconer Clary, Verdant Aiden, Arrowell, Spectre Tibria, Destina, Senya now. So let's go ahead and gear up Senya. Hopefully that whole video wasn't ruined by me covering the stats all the time. So our Senya, we had a definite couple pieces that we were going to use on her. That piece is fine to use with someone else. This piece isn't too bad on her, but we lose out on a lot. This was a piece we were considering for Senya. So honestly, we may end up switching this onto Senya because I don't have another sword for now. We may end up switching that on Senya, but let's see if we have other pieces first. So this piece could be okay on her. This piece is probably the best piece I have for her, so never mind. Helmet is taken care of. Our chest, I'm going to use that on another character. So chest is not taken care of. For the necklace, this piece would probably just work just fine. Now our ring, this piece is okay for her. And wait, we didn't end up using this piece yet. So we can honestly build another speed damage dealer, which is nice. So this piece of gear right here is kind of rough. I think this one has the best chance of being good. So that can be used on her. And then we have the boots that are already leveled that we know are good for her, these ones. So now she's sitting at 65% effect, or 35 effect resist. All right, so now for the other two pieces, we might have to get creative. Looking at this, this has crit chance. This is all used on our other characters. So we may need a little bit of work to get this finished. I can do this, but we need one more HP set piece. I'm gonna go ahead and steal from Adventurer Raz. So with Adventurer Raz, we're just going to put him on a pretty crappy speed set, and he'll end up working just fine. So this will probably end up being the Senya, and it'll work just fine for us. So this gives all the stats we need. We have attack percent, ring, and neck to balance out the attack with the bulk that is coming from HP percent. This should work out just fine. So we'll level that gear up. And then what artifact do we have for her? Do we get Bastion or Pollution again? We always get Bastion. So easy Bastion. So our Celine should end up being good to go once we level up that gear. Rowana just needs a necklace. Sharoon, Lionheart Surmia. Let's go ahead and put that defense percent ring that we got that isn't perfect. This piece, not too great either. So let's just go ahead and do this one. It gives the extra crit chance. Or actually, didn't we have the option of the crit chance necklace? We had this crazy piece, but yeah, we're way over cap. So in order to utilize this piece, even though we got a crazy banger piece of gear, we're going to have to wait to utilize this piece, which really sucks. We're going to have to get pieces without any crit chance on them, and these all only have crit chance, probably. Crit chance. Yeah, these mainly all have crit chance. So it's going to take a while before we could use that, but that's fine. So let's go ahead and switch that. So now our Lionheart Surmia, once your gear is leveled, she'll be usable, and we can work with that. Next up, Meteor Cowrick, we just need to craft for boots. And then Raz will switch out some gear and fix them up. But as you can see, our account just completely changed, and we didn't take apart any Wyvern characters or anything like that. So we have our Mercedes, our Shu, our Falconer Clary, our Aiden, our Arrowell needs to be geared. So let's go ahead and figure out how to gear her real quick. So we're going to want that piece. Was it this piece? Probably this piece. Well, we'll see. This piece was for her. Next up, this piece was for her. We do have, I don't want to do a flat HP piece on her, so I think we're going to have to steal a piece. And then for the boots, we're going to go ahead and just put these on her. These aren't great because we're not super high HP, but we definitely need HP percent for this right here. So we may end up just having to take one of these two immunity rings, and that's fine. So if we have to take one of them, we'll make it work. And then we're going to end up taking, say, the immunity helmet here. The bad thing is if this doesn't roll HP, we're going to need to be looking for something else. How did this roll? This is what we want. So we did get an immunity piece earlier. So this is probably going to be the Airwell that we use, and that will end up working. So let's go ahead and switch to gear. So for the artifact, we definitely want Adamant Shield. It's going to be her best in slot, but do I not have an Adamant Shield? Wait, do I not have one? No way. I don't have an Adamant Shield? Uh-oh. Well, that's kind of bad. What's this do? Start a battle against a melee caster for 2 turns. Nope, they're not good. Steadfast Gatekeeper. Increases days. Okay, and Hillag Lance. I think Hillag Lance is going to be our best bet. Or hopefully you have an Adamant Shield. I guess I forgot to lock one and I sold or something. There's no way I didn't pull one. I barely done any summons though. Okay, so now our characters are in a spot where I'm going to go through and level them up. You guys saw the method that I had for crafting, but now that we know the specific pieces that I need to finish up the builds, I'm going to go craft and get the last couple pieces, and I will come back one last time in this video to show you what the final result characters look like. And this will be basically, if you're on day 25 of your account will look just about like this, with a little bit less right side gear upgrade. That's going to be the only difference, because I didn't play efficiently at all. I didn't do lab probably half the days I played. So your account should look very similar to this after about 25 to 30 days if you farmed efficiently. So I will be right back. All right, so we have went in. I did a little bit more adjusting and everything. And I'm ready to show what my account looks like as of right now. So this will be kind of a little bit of a benchmark. Let me go. Wait, did I buy a Warhorn? No, I have not yet. Okay, so we buy a Warhorn and we lock it. This is for Meat Eater Kalric. Captain Shot, let me buy these buffs real quick. Got to be a good guild mate. So now I'm going to go ahead and show everybody. So let me put the artifact on Meat Eater Kalric and I will level it up real quick. But from here, we're pretty much about ready. I just need to do some farming skill upgrades and all of that. So by tomorrow, if I continue on this account, finish Aiden today, we'll be looking pretty good. But whenever you get into gearing your RTA roster, like we just did here, there are going to be a lot of pieces that you'll just level up and need to finish later. That's just part of it. The main thing to focus on is finishing your damage dealer right side gear first, and then your core supports like Arrowwell, your front tank, whichever tank you decide, your speed contester, and then Meat Eater Kalric and your Destina. Those are the ones to finish first. So as you see our Mercedes right here, she's not fully leveled on her gear. I likely will change out some of this gear to higher crit chance pieces from my Wyvern team. But this is a starting point. So 4,156 and 270 crit damage. We are missing out on 23 crit damage, so that's already 290 crit damage, plus a ton of attack from this. So our Mercedes is going to hit like a truck. She will be part of our anti-cleave and other drafts. Our Shoe we did not touch at all. 86 crit chance, just what we're going to have to settle with. I will try to upgrade her later, but for right now, these are the pieces that are going to have to work. I will change this Effectress to defense or something, but she should work just fine for what we need her for. Our Falconer Clary is now 265 speed. This piece will end up going on someone else later, but for right now, it's our fastest piece. We put our fastest gear on our opening character for if we are going to try to speed contest it all. And she is also a tank. She is on Aureus, so she will provide mitigation to our team. Next up, we have Aiden. Our Aiden's looking pretty solid. She will be looking even better once we finish her change. 223 speed. I think she gets more speed once you do her specialty change. I do need to get a new helmet and a few new pieces for her, but overall, pretty happy with how she turned out. I can't complain. She does have the boots from the event, which a hard carrier. These boots are insane. So these pieces alone just make her crazy. So now we have speed set on her Arrowwell. This will work for Arrowwell. We just have to upgrade all of the gear the rest of the way. So she will be over 20,000 HP. After some reforgers, she'll have over 200 speed, and she'll have quite a bit of effect res. So that will do. Our Spectre Tenebria, just basic Spectre Tenebria. We're trying not to mess with our core like story farming team and things like that. So our Spectre Tenebria just keeps the same set. We didn't steal anything from our Wyvern team. Our Destina is the same set that she was on. I changed the helmet off of her because this ended up rolling 20 effect res. So our Destina, once we level her gear, she'll be 200 effect res with around 18,000 to 19,000 HP. Water's Origin, this is all free gear. Our Senya is starting to come together, so we do need to level up her gear the rest of the way, but she has attack percent, neck, and ring, and then speed boots, so she will get a little bit more speed out of everything. Once reforged, she'll have decent bulk, about 15,000 HP. Her attack should be around 4k after all is said and done, and she'll have a decent amount of effect res. So now our Celine, we went ahead, we rolled these boots. They rolled pretty decently. I'm going to switch one of these defenses to probably crit damage. We're going to have to adjust some pieces for sure. She won't have 100 crit. We'll see if we maybe have an artifact for her that can help us with that. And she will likely go on a damage artifact, but we'll see. She's a work in progress. Rowana is on our protection set, and I'm going to be putting on the other piece. Rowana won't be high priority because I'm banning ML Landy once we get to RTA, but she will be geared up pretty well. Our Sharoon is starting to come together, so she's 181, but having this to where you have your units and the gear on them. You now know what to upgrade next, what to focus on, the pieces that you could upgrade and craft for. So it gives you an idea what to be watching for. Now we have Lionheart Sirmia. I ended up getting some more pieces for her. I actually did get a ring. I did a little bit of crafting, so I did end up getting a ring that may be better for her. It is this one here. So let's go ahead and switch to this. And then let's go ahead and upgrade it and just see how this ends up going. Hopefully it doesn't go flat attack, and it didn't. This piece went crazy, which is awesome for us. So let's see if it goes. Okay, this piece is going amazing. So let's go to plus 12, and this piece is insane. So our Lionheart Sirmia is going to end up being very, very solid once we finish up the rest of her gear. So that's really cool. We can change this to some defense %, and we could definitely adjust the gear to make it even stronger. This week put HP over flat attack, but this piece is already amazing. So our Meteor Coward can end up at 208 speed before Reforge. He will be a little around 215 speed with quite a bit more HP. I did go and craft some boots for him, so we did end up getting one with decent HP. All right, we didn't craft this week, equipment conversion. So whenever you know what kind of gear you're looking for, you can do equipment conversions and chase that gear. So now our Adventure Raz, we just have to put some gear back on him for PvE and level it up a little bit, and he'll still work just fine. And that is our core PvP roster. So this is what we're going to be starting RTA with. We got a good solid amount of options. And from here, we'll go into PvP, try RTA, see what we're lacking, figure out what we need to build. We're going to end up building Carrot. I already know she's going to be built. We're going to be putting her on Abyssal Crown. That is what I got from the artifact selector. So Carrot will end up being one of our core RTA units. So if I put my current Falconer Clary gear on my Pyrrha, it's like a 280-ish Pyrrha, I think. So I could have a 280 character already at the start of the game, which would be nice, but I'm going to go ahead and use Falconer Clary since most of you guys might not have another opening option. I'll teach you how to play Falconer Clary effectively. And then from here, the only other character that I'm considering building is Last Piece Corinne. If we can get a couple more pieces with speed on them, I may end up trying to throw one of her together and see how we could get her to perform. But overall, that is it. That is going to be our RTA roster to get into the matches. I'm going to play the rest of the day. I'm going to finish the awakenings on a lot of these characters. I'm going to just farm runes since it's Sunday. And then we're going to work on finishing Aiden. And hopefully by tomorrow, I'll give an update on all of the characters and we'll have our first RTA matches. So hopefully this video helps you. I know it's long. Hopefully you can skip around and see exactly where I'm at and what you want to do. Some of your characters are going to be different, but you're just going to have to figure out that. Again, those videos will be up soon showing builds for each character so you can kind of get an idea of what you're looking for. But once you're to this point, you're good. A lot of these characters we're going to end up using in other content, such as raids, our expedition teams, and we're going to be setting up all of that. So Hell Raid's coming up in a few days. We're going to be starting on those. We're going to be starting on all our level 3 expedition teams, just have them set up and good to go. But other than that, that's it for this video. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, comment or put them down below. And join the Discord. Again, that's the best place to get answers on all your questions. But it's been Deity, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.